So now what it says is like on a raster system. So basically you'd be having some system raster scan system, and if your monitor or if your system supports this sub-pixel kind of thing, because see, based on the main pixel, you are able to draw something, and you'd be able to like get some intensities for that pixels or thing you want to illuminate. But what if you have the capability that deals or that works in that sub-pixel form? So you can think of a like computer monitor or raster scan system in which you'd be having a grid, okay, that is having so many like sub pixels, so many small pixels, and that itself can contain some intensity that is to be illuminated or that is to be displayed. Okay, so now what this concept says is, instead of like going with the main pixels and dealing with the integer values, the rounded off values, now what we it says is we try to like pass our electron beam. But obviously when we try to do this thing, it's the main purpose of doing this thing is to illuminate something or to display something onto the monitor. Okay, but now why we like need this thing? So what it says is, if your monitor or if your like system supports this subpixel kind of thing, then what it says is we pass the electron beam from the closer subpixel so that overall pixel is shifted by factor 1/4, similarly 1/2, and then 3/4 to pixel diameter. Okay, so basically what it says is, instead of going to this main pixel and try to eliminate this particular pixel, what we try to do is we try to like shift the whole pixel, or we try to get whole scenario to this subpixel so that it gives us more zoomed in thing. Okay, instead of dealing with the main pixel, what it says, you try to get closer to the subpixels that contains this information. I'm not saying that you just have to focus on the subpixels and that would be like illuminating something or displaying something, but what it says is, if that subpixel is carrying that line, if that subpixel is carrying that object, then you try to go closer to that particular subpixels and try to illuminate that thing. So what obviously in this case, you'd be dealing with the fraction like point, or you'd be having some floating points at that like particular subpixel on that particular subpixel. So instead of going to the main pixel, you go to the subpixel and try to illuminate the whole like line or the object. So that is what it says. So what it says is that the overall pixel is shifted by this many values, okay, to the pixel diameter. So our electron gun will move in this manner only. So by this particular way, what we can do is we can get more intensity than the other part of the pixel, and that gives us the anti-aliasing effect. But obviously if you have one value, that is 1, and if you try to eliminate 1, and instead of 1 in this method, if it is illuminating 0.6, okay, intensity value of that subpixel, so what obviously you'd be having like more more good effect than compared to the pixelated thing. Okay, instead of the rounded off values, if you are dealing with the intensity that is having zero point 0.6 value, so you'd be getting like a very good effect as compared to the previous one. So that is what it says. So you try to like strike your beam, or you try to focus your beam on that part of a pixel instead of a whole pixel. Okay, so each pixel would be carrying some values. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to know. And then what it says, some system also allows the size of individual pixel to be adjusted, okay, as an additional mean for distributing intensity. Okay, so it all depends on the system, so how they deal with this and like aliasing thing. And they have given it in their own developers manual or in their like monitor manual, that okay, how they deal with this pixelated things or how they deal with this aliasing effect. So some system might add up this thing, that is the size of individual pixel to be adjusted. Okay, so instead of taking that whole value, it can adjust its own value to get your like blur effect, or to get a like a good fairly available thing to the user or something. Okay, so now that is what it says in the pixel phasing. Okay, so now we have one more thing that you have to keep in mind, that is compensating for line intensity differences. Okay, now what is this line difference? So we have one more thing, that is anti-aliasing a line to soften the aliasing effect, also compensate for another raster effect. Okay, so now as it is given over here. So we have one line that is diagonal at 45 degree, and we have one line, okay, that is lying on this thing. Okay, so now based on that fundamental, what it says is we need to like compensate the intensities, because both of this line would be having different intensities. Whenever we display this thing on the monitor, it would be having the different intensities. So now in this case there would be a problem if your like horizontal line is like getting less intensity or higher intensity than the diagonal line, then you won't be able to see that much clear image, or you won't be able to see like more detail in that particular image. So what it says, as both lines are displayed with same number of pixels, then to length of the diagonal line is longer than the horizontal line by factor square root of 2. Okay, so you would be having some difference as compared to the horizontal line. You'd be having some difference whenever we talk about the lines that are like that have different slope. Okay, so now what you try to do is you try to anti-alias the thing based on the slopes. Okay, based on the slopes of that particular line. So instead of going and instead of giving same intensities to the whole of the things that are available, you try to give some intensity based on the slope. Okay, so now what it says is, so that diagonal line is displayed with less intensity than the horizontal line. So now we don't want this thing to occur. Okay, we don't want such scenario. Okay, by our diagonal line should get the low intensity than the horizontal line. Okay, so to compensate this, we display diagonal line higher intensity and horizontal line with lower intensity, so that this effect is minimized. See, overall you need to visualize this thing. Whenever this thing appears on the computer monitor, you don't have this kind of thing. Okay, because it is like right now it appears blue to you, it is fine, but what if you have two different intensities associated with each and every line? Okay, or multiple lines if you have in your scenario, and you have different intensities for each of this line, then you won't be getting that much good result. So you could be getting the pixelated thing. Okay, or like you need to do some anti-aliasing thing on that particular scenario or on that object. So for that purpose, what it says is, for compensating this, we display diagonal line with higher intensities. We'll give some higher values as compared to the horizontal or the vertical line. Even if you have this line over here, vertical line over here, then also you'll be giving low intensity to such lines as compared to the diagonal line. So what the author says is, whenever this kind of scenario occurs, what you do is you try to give the higher intensities to the like lines that are having 45 degrees, or based on the slope you try to give the intensities. Okay, so what it says, in general we set the intensities according to the slope of the line. But obviously in the actual or in the practical scenario, you are not going to like check each and every line and all. So basically what one thing you can check is for the slope of that line. And yeah, so once you have, okay, so what it says is, in general we try to set the intensities according to the slope of the line. So we are trying to like compensate the difference that we are dealing with. Okay, in the actual scenario, what it says is, you are having two things as of now in the figure. You have one diagonal line and you have one horizontal line, and out of which you are getting like variation in the intensities. So now to try, we try to compensate this thing by doing something. So what it says is, we try to give the intensities based on the slope of the line. Okay, so in this case what it says is, we try to display the diagonal line with somewhat higher intensity or somewhat higher value than the intensity that the horizontal or the vertical line is having. So that is how we can minimize this effect. See, actually you have to like imagine this thing, else you won't be able to, you are not able to like you catch up this thing. Okay, so what you need to do is, you just to try to imagine this thing. Okay, whenever you deal with the pixels, you deal with the values, you deal with the intensities. So each and every pixel would be having some intensity, like a value. Okay, so that is what it says. So you try to vary the intensities, so that could like help us to vary the like that could help us to reduce the aliasing effect as well. Okay, so that is what it says. So now we have one more thing, that is anti-aliasing the area boundaries. So now till now we have seen the methods that were like for anti-aliasing the line. Okay, if you have a staircase kind of thing in the line, so what we can do is we can do this kind of thing that we have seen. But now the same thing could be applied for the area boundaries as well. So now we have one thing, that is what it says: if system capabilities permits the repositioning of pixels, as just now we have seen, area pixels or area boundaries can be smoothened by adjusting the boundary pixel position. Okay, so now what it says is we'll try to calculate, or we'll try to like get the coverage of the things that you're, suppose you have one line, and we'll try to get the boundary, that how much line is there, or how much portion of the line is there on that particular pixel or on that particular boundary, and out of the coverage we'll try to smoothen that particular thing. So now we have one more thing over here, that is other method is to adjust the, like adjust each pixel intensity at the boundary position according to the percentage of area inside the boundary. Okay, so based on the percentage that like a particular line is passing through from that pixel, what we try to do is we try to give some percentage based on the thing that is covered. Okay, so now over here we have one thing, that is, now see, we have one scenario and we have one like one line or something that is passing from that pixels. Okay, so now as you can see, we have this like coordinates, we have this pixel that is xy and xy plus 1. Similarly we have x plus 1, y plus 1, and these are the pixels that are actually associated with that particular object. So now based on this information, what it says is in the figure, pixel at xy, okay, so this pixel is assigned half the intensity as its half area is inside the area boundary. So now based on the things, based on the coverage of the pixel, you need to give some intensity value. So that is what it says, as simple as that. You have to keep it like that. Okay, so now similar adjustment based on the percentage of area of pixel inside are applied to other pixels. So similarly over here you would be having something ranging from 75, so similar intensity could be given over here. So your, what you can say is you have lower intensity for this particular pixel. Suppose your 75% like coverage is there, okay, and you have like more than 75% outside of that particular line. So what you can do is you can like similarly give the intensity value of 0.25 to this particular pixel. So that would say that okay, our major of the line is not covered by this pixel, so we'd be giving lower intensity. Lower intensity, that means your particular pixel won't be illuminated that much, you won't be having that much like greater value, that much illuminated thing, so your boundary would be blurred out. Okay, instead of the things that are completely inside. So over here we have this pixel. So now as you can see, this pixel is completely inside that particular region. Okay, so now you'd be giving full intensity, okay, instead of the neighboring pixel. So as we have given the value to the neighboring pixel, that is 0.25, because it is covering only that much portion. Okay, so now instead of that, the neighboring pixel would be containing the value equal to 1 or something like that, and based on that you'd be getting highly or more intense value of that particular pixel. So whenever you compare this case, whenever you see this thing on your monitor, what it says is you'd be having higher intensity value for the inner pixel, and you'll be like getting the lower value for the boundary pixels. So but obviously if you have lower intensities for the pixels that are at the boundary, then it would be giving you the like blurred thing at the edges, at the boundary. That is what you say, that is what it says. You just have to consider that case, okay, in the area boundaries. Okay, so that is what it says. Simple thing hai bahut hi, you just need to count the coverage. Okay, based on the coverage you have to give the intensities. Okay, that much portion is inside that particular pixel. Okay, so that's it in this graphic primitives part. You can see, and what you have to do is you have to also refer the computer graphics book, and that is by Han and Baker, and try to understand the things. If you don't get anything, then you can ask me. Till now we have seen so many things. Yeah, so starting from the like very first thing that we have seen in the lecture is to plot a point, and then out of that point how we can build a line, how we can draw a line, and based on that we have seen the fundamentals, few algorithms that the author have proposed. So first one was the DDA algorithm, that is digital differential analyzer algorithm. And in that we have we tried to get closer to the pixels instead of getting the values that are far away from each other. We tried to get the closer values so that we can get a better line as compared to the previous one. Also, our competition was also very high. So to reduce the competition, we have like use this algorithms. Okay, and then one more problem that we were facing, that we were not getting that much efficient thing. Okay, so we have then studied the Bresson algorithm. Okay, Bresson algorithm says that you have two choices out of the candidate pixel. You have to choose one. So which one is close to that line, you have to just choose that line, and then you have to plot that particular pixel at that point. Okay, and then similar based on the similar fundamental, we have then seen this thing, that is the circle generation algorithm. First of all, we have seen a simple like circle equation, and based on that we tried to derive some midpoint circle generation algorithm, and out of the midpoint you can make the decision, and decision get would be like made out of the decision parameter. Okay, so first of all we have initial decision parameter in both of the algorithms, that is for the Bressenham as well as this midpoint circle generation. And out of the initial decision parameter, you gotta make one decision that okay, which way, in which direction you have to go. Okay, so at each and every stage you would be getting different decision parameter based on the condition. Just the simple condition is to check whether you are close to that line, whether you are outside that like boundary of that line, or you are inside. Okay, or you are on that particular boundary. So that is what it say. You have this decision parameter from which you can like simply check okay whether it is like greater than zero or less than zero. And then yeah, once these things are like finished, and then we have seen one more thing, that is ellipse generation algorithm. Okay, so ellipse generation is the same thing, same fundamental that we have like adapted as we have seen in the circle generation algorithm. And we have one more like one new equation for the ellipse. So simple thing, we have just replaced the circle equation with the ellipse equation, and we have derived the whole new decision parameters to get the new thing that is very close to the line. Okay, if it is for line or if it is for the ellipse. And then based on that we have seen one more thing, that is the field area primitive. So once we have a polygon, how we can fill that particular thing. Okay, so filling is also required, and our like assignment 3 is based on assignment 4 is based on that thing only. If you have one object, you gotta fill that thing with the boundary fill and flood fill algorithm. Okay, so you have to use both of this thing in your next assignment. So both of this thing were having different fundamentals. Okay, what is this like flood fill says, you just have to replace the older color or the color that you already have with the newer color, okay, with the foreground color that you want to add. While the boundary fill searches for the boundary. Okay, if your boundary is of black color, it tries to find the boundary. Once it gets that information, it will paint that, or it will try to fill that remaining neighbor pixels with the different color, that whatever you want to view. Okay, so that was one thing. And then we have like gone to this concept. Okay, that is the aliasing and how we can reduce the aliasing effect. So basically the basic concept that it says is you just have to deal with the subpixels. So if you have some values with of that subpixels, some intensity value of the subpixels, and but obviously it is better than the main pixel, because in the main pixel you don't have that much precise information. You just have one value that has been rounded off. But now what it says, if you have that like precise value in floating point or something, so if you have that information with you, so you can simply like illuminate that thing, or simply draw closer thing, so that would blur out the pixelated thing, that is nothing but the things that you are getting the at the like integer value, rounded off integer value. And then we have seen few things that are available to us, that is in the PHIGS package. Now these things are also given in the computer graphic book, that you can check what you can do, what you can give your hands on to this different functions that we have, and you can simply like try this thing. Okay, and yeah, we have so many things, so many functions in this PHIGS package that has been developed, and that is what you have to study. Yeah, till now the things that we have seen only operates on the 2D objects, 2D polygon. For the 3D, we have a different thing. We have different technologies that we need to learn. So basically, once we are done with the 2D orientation and like scaling and all, we'll be going with the 3D objects. Okay, so now for that, but obviously, like as of now, you know this thing that your graphics.h library doesn't support this thing, 3D objects and 3D rendering. So for that, you have to use the OpenGL library. Okay, so OpenGL is also a very like wide thing that the people are using, but we have to go from the basic, that is the 2D based on your Hanan Baker. Okay, so now for the remaining part of the, I'm not like I don't want to go further with the next unit because we have too much time, okay, with us. So we will not hurry, and we'll do it in this remaining time. That is the remaining half hour. You try to solve the numericals that I have given to you in the tutorial. Okay. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. You have to be in this lecture only. Don't leave the meet. And yeah, I have the solutions with me. You try to solve it, and we'll communicate in this chat box.